Okay, so this is a case study of a recent graduate. We'll call him Christopher. I met this young man about 4.5 years ago, and he had been out of school for a couple of years, but had just kind of got his big boy job, as he called it, and wanted to do a little bit of planning moving forward once he was a little bit established in his career, or starting to get established in his career. So, as I say, he graduated university about 2 years before I met him, bounced around a few part-time jobs, and had just landed his first career job. He was 25 at the time, single. And his main goals when he came to me were to pay off his student debt, buy a car, start an investment plan, and save for a down payment on a house. But before he was ready with the down payment, he figured he wanted to move out of his parents' place and get out on his own even before purchasing a home. So the current situation, or the situation he was in when he came to me, was $30,000 in debt, student loans, with zero invested or saved at that point. After tax income was around $3,500 per month. Average monthly expenses, and we estimated around $1,100 for rent in this scenario, which brought it to about $2,600 a month in cost for him. Now, this again was about 4 years ago. Rents have gone up a little bit since then, so maybe you would need to take in some roommates to make this work, but it gives the general feel of where we're at. His student loan, he was paying $279 per month towards his student loan. He'd gotten a deal at his bank at 2.2% over 10 years to pay that back. Again, interest rates have gone up, so that might not be possible now, but for the sake of argument, we'll just leave it the way it is. So his total expenses were around $2,879 per month, which left him with a disposable income of $621 per month. Now, that's not to say he actually had that kind of money laying around. Money does have a way of slipping through our fingernails if we don't tell it what to do. So the first thing I did with him was a zero-based budget. A zero-based budget is a budgeting tool that I use with almost all of my clients. Allows us or gives us an idea of what's happening without making any adjustments initially. What we do is we basically spend every dollar on paper before the month begins, and then for 1 month try as we can to not deviate from that plan. And by simply being aware of the little leaks in spending that come up, the average consumer can cut between 5 and 10% of their expenses. In my own personal case, when I first did this, I saved around $30 a month just in Tim Hortons visits. In Christopher's case, we were able to find an extra $100 per month of just little indiscretionary spending over the course of the month. The next step was what I refer to as the CYA 50/50. CYA stands for Cover Your Butt, where we took his surplus, which was now $721 a month, and we covered his butt for $30,000 of life insurance and a comparable amount of critical illness insurance. At 25 years old, male, good health, non-smoker, that came out at $48.19 per month. Then we took 50% of his surplus and put it immediately on his student loan. So that increased his student loan payment from $279 a month to $615 per month. Over the course of the repayment or amortization schedule, that cut 5 years and 9 months off of the 10-year term and saved him nearly $2,000 in interest payments. The remaining 50% we split it 20, 20, and 10. So 20% went to short-term savings, which were earmarked for his car and a down payment on the house, and 20% into long-term savings. And then we held back 10% as disposable income and fun money because he's a young guy. He wants to go out and have fun with his buddies. So, so that was, and we need emergency margin and all those kinds of things. Step 3 was then to look at a savings plan. So we again took that 20% or 40% of his disposable income rather, and split it in two. So 20%, as we said, was going to short-term savings, which were earmarked for his car and down payment on the house. So because it was a shorter period, a shorter time frame that we had to work with, we put it into an aggressive allocation fund that was returning around 6.17% at the time. The second block, the second 20%, $134.56 per month, went into long-term savings. This we could afford to be more aggressive with. And so we put it into a foreign equity fund, a much higher risk fund, but at the time was returning 17.49%. 4 years down the road, as I said, I met this guy about 5 years ago, and I've been working with him for about 4.5 to 5 years. His investments are now worth $7,340 in the short-term fund and $9,162 in the long-term fund. He took out $8,000 total and bought a used car, and that left him with $8,500 in the long-term fund. So then the fourth step that we had here was a long-term plan. So now we had $8,500 invested. His student loan was paid off. He now had a surplus cash flow of $1,000 per month. So we took that $8,500, put it into the foreign equity fund at 17.49% with an additional $250 a month. Then we took $250 a month and put it into an emerging markets fund, which was even more aggressive and even more volatile at 18.06%. Then we did $250 a month into a mid-cap fund at 7.84% and $250 per month into a global bond fund at 8.24%. It's always a good idea to have some bonds in your portfolio because that's fixed income, loan value. You're basically lending money to foreign governments, that kind of stuff, and are able to kind of better project the long-term performance of these things. Bonds are considered a hedge against volatility in a lot of cases. So that was the plan that we put in place after the first 4 years, and we are projecting in the next 10 years for the foreign equity fund to be worth about $117,000, the emerging markets fund to be worth about $77,000, mid-cap to be about $44,000, and global bonds to be about $45,000. And back to the summary of cost, as we said, we had $721 per month to work with. That meant that initially, and now it's more because of the $1,000 extra cash flow that he has, but initially the cost was $48 for the life and critical illness policy, a debt repayment plan of $615, which was an increase of $336 from what he was doing before he met me. Short-term savings $134, long-term savings $134, which made his total commitment per month $653.31, and he still had some margin there for fun money and emergencies. So this is the kind of thing that I do with a recent graduate or someone who's just starting out. If you are looking for a similar plan and some information on some similar things to do, feel free to reach out and we can prepare a strategy session for you similar to this. Have a great day.